On Zombie Reddit, today's story is:
I discovered that my wife sold my grandmother's relic without permission, and her response made me give up everything in 24 hours. My wife Leah, 26, and I, 28, had been married for 6 months, after having been in a relationship for 2 years. A few days ago, I made the decision to find a lawyer and start the divorce proceedings. The reason: she sold the engagement ring I had proposed with. It wasn't just any ring, it was made of platinum with diamond encrustations and, most importantly, it had been passed down through 3 generations of my family. This ring meant a lot to me, and Leah was perfectly aware of my desire to keep it as a family heirloom. The week before, I noticed that her ring was missing. When I asked her about it, she replied with disconcerting calm that she had sold it to buy luxury items, arguing that she found the design old-fashioned and not in keeping with her style. With the money from the sale, she had bought several designer handbags and other jewelry. Her carefree attitude as she told me this made me lose my composure, especially thinking about how my mother and grandmother, who are still alive, would feel when they found out about this. I demanded that she return everything she had bought to get the ring back, reminding her that it was a family heirloom and she knew it full well. I couldn't understand how she had made such a serious mistake. But she made it clear to me that it wasn't a mistake, she had done it deliberately. She explained that she had prepared her defense, anticipating my reaction. According to her, from the moment of the proposal, she had never liked the ring, but she hadn't mentioned it out of respect for it being a family heirloom. However, now that we were married, technically the ring belonged to her and she could do what she wanted with it. That was her justification, and she truly believed it was an irrefutable argument. We had the worst fight of our relationship, with more shouting than ever before. I told her I wanted the ring back no matter what the cost. She flatly refused to give anything back and told me that if I wanted the ring so badly, I would have to buy it from the jeweler myself. I was so upset that I packed a small suitcase and went to a hotel in the suburbs, where I am now. She didn't even try to stop me, she didn't even look up when I left, and she hasn't tried to contact me since. I waited 2 days to see if she would get in touch. When she didn't, I consulted with my friends who put me in touch with a good divorce lawyer on the 3rd day. After talking to him, I proceeded to block her on all social networks. Yesterday, when I received the divorce papers, I signed them and took advantage of the fact that she wasn't at home to leave them on the coffee table. I also started to take my belongings out. Fortunately, some friends offered to help me with the heaviest things and are storing them in their homes until I find a new place. When I finished, there was no trace of me left in the house. I returned to the hotel, and in the evening, after 6 o'clock when Leah returned from work, I started to receive calls and messages from her parents saying that I couldn't do this, that I should talk to her once more, that I needed to unblock her because this was something very small and I couldn't end our marriage over something like this. I didn't care and I blocked them too. Then she sent her friends, who started telling me that I was being irrational and selfish. They told me that apparently, right after I left, Leah had already contacted the jeweler to try to get the ring back because she felt bad, but that I hadn't even given her time. They started to make me look like the villain of the story, and now I wonder if maybe I overreacted. I've been feeling strange since last night. Am I wrong to file for divorce because my wife sold the engagement ring that had been in my family for generations? Addition, nobody in my family knows what's going on right now. I don't want to worry them, that's why I haven't said anything. My maternal grandmother, who is already elderly, is the original owner of the ring. My grandfather gave it to her when he proposed. I don't want her to suffer a heart attack, which she would surely have if she found out that Leah sold the ring. This ring means a lot to my family. I have been in touch with the jeweler who bought the ring over the last few days. Leah gave me his information during our fight, when she told me that if I wanted the ring so much, I should go and buy it myself. However, I haven't been able to get it back because the jeweler is asking for a much higher price than he paid Leah. I'm trying to negotiate with him, although he confirmed to me that Leah is also trying to buy it back. He said he'll sell it to whoever brings the money first, and if another customer comes along willing to pay more than the price he's quoting us, he'll sell it to them. I have to act fast because the ring is on display and they have no reserve policy. He's frustrating to deal with, but I understand he's a businessman and I can't blame him. After all, Leah sold him the ring and he paid good money for it. I just hope I can raise the money soon or get the price down so I can get it back. Only after that can I tell my family what's going on, because otherwise things will get very complicated and I don't want them to get alarmed. Update 1. It's been 4 days since my initial post. Thanks to everyone who commented. It was really useful to confirm that I was doing the right thing because I had started to seriously doubt myself. His friends really made me doubt myself. They were very insistent on making me look like the bad guy, but luckily I didn't let myself be influenced too much. I had blocked all her friends and family because I don't want to have any contact with them after everything that has happened. This situation has really been affecting my head. Leah and I were together for several years and I never imagined that something like this could happen. I always knew that she was materialistic, I have to accept that, but I never thought it would go to this extreme and then she would act as if she had done nothing wrong. That was what surprised me the most because it's not like we hadn't had fights before, like any couple, we had them. But this one was different. I saw a side of her that I didn't know and that's why I decided to get a divorce. If she thinks she can treat me like this just 6 months after we got married, she's wrong. She can't walk all over me and expect me to stay. The ring may seem like a minor issue to others, but for me and my family it is very serious. As I mentioned before, she knew perfectly well that I wanted the ring to remain a family heirloom. You can't just sell something like that and pretend it's okay just because it technically belongs to you. I wish I could explain this to her family and friends who insist on making me look like the bad guy, but it's not worth the effort. She herself has not tried to contact me, which is strange considering how desperate she seems to be according to others. I know she has a secondary social media account that I haven't blocked, but she hasn't written to me there either. So I guess she's not really trying to reconcile, she just wants to make me feel guilty for filing for divorce. At least that's how the situation seems right now. I'm really not sure about anything at the moment. About the ring and the jewelry box, I've been in touch with him and he told me that Leah hasn't responded to his messages in the last 2 days. Maybe she gave up. I don't know what's going on with her, but I told him I was willing to pay the asking price because at this point I'm desperate to get the ring back. He agreed and tomorrow I'll go to his shop, give him a check and get my ring back. Afterwards I will finally tell my family what has been going on between Leah and I, because I think it's time they knew. They still have no idea and my mother has been asking me why neither of them are at home and why Leah isn't answering her calls. I didn't know that Leah had also moved out, I guess she's with her parents or friends. It doesn't matter, but it seems that this is final as moving out of the house is a pretty final step. I guess I'll hear from her lawyer soon and we can proceed with the divorce. I have a feeling she's not going to contest it and I really hope she doesn't because I think I've been fair in my terms and she shouldn't be asking for more. Anyway, I'll know soon and I just hope things go smoothly because I'm already spending a lot of money getting the ring back. I don't want to spend a fortune on lawyers fighting a long divorce. I just hope everything goes well from now on. I don't know what else to say. Update 2. Today I finally went to the jewelry store, handed over the check and got the ring back. The jeweler seemed very interested in my situation and was quite talkative, kind of gossipy. He told me he had never been in a situation like this and found it very interesting. He also told me that Leah had suddenly blocked him, which is curious considering how his friends insisted that she felt terrible and was trying to get the ring back. I guess when she realized it wasn't coming back, she gave up trying. So it was all just for show. She really doesn't care about any of this and just wants to look good. This confirms what I already suspected, so it doesn't surprise me. After seeing the jeweler, I decided to talk to my family and finally be honest because I was tired of hiding things from them. And now that I had the ring, they wouldn't have to worry about it either. I went to my mom's house, sat down my parents, and FaceTimed my grandmother to explain the whole situation. Everyone was shocked that Leah had done something like this because she always seemed like a very sweet person. Nobody expected this from her. My grandmother was glad that I could get the ring back, but she told me that after everything that had happened, it wasn't fair that I had to buy it again. She suggested that during the divorce, I should make Leah pay for it. I told him I'd think about it, but honestly, I know that won't work. It would just lead to a long legal battle with endless negotiations, which is the last thing I want. These things can drag on and I really don't have the energy or the money to keep spending on lawyers. I didn't tell him, but in a situation like this, the most practical thing is to accept the loss. It sounds bad, but it's the sensible thing to do because we don't have any written agreement. It would be difficult to prove anything. These are social conventions, not written laws. So pursuing this legally would be pointless unless I could afford the best lawyers in town. My parents understood and didn't insist any further. After finishing the call with my grandmother, my parents expressed their disappointment at how things turned out with Leah because they really loved her. They never had any problems with her. She was always an excellent daughter-in-law and when we got married, my parents were happy. Probably because Leah fitted perfectly into our family. She was like the missing piece of the puzzle. And now, not even a year after the wedding, we are already getting divorced. I ended up crying while they were talking to me and they had to console me because until now I hadn't allowed myself to break down or process my emotions. But today I just couldn't help myself. Hearing my parents talk about Leah and how sad they were about the situation made me feel really bad about everything that was happening. And they were right, Not even a year after we got married, we're already getting divorced. I would never have imagined something like this a few months or even weeks ago. But it's happening and there's not much I can do about it. The worst thing is that I know she doesn't even think she did anything that would justify a divorce. That's why she sent her family and friends to make me feel guilty so that I would come back. The whole thing about talking to the jeweler was just for appearances. She just wanted to seem sorry, but she probably wasn't. She doesn't even understand how important this was to me. She really thinks I'm overreacting and that's what hurts the most, but I felt lighter after talking to my parents today. I felt like a huge weight had been lifted. They told me they were proud of me for standing up for myself and my family and not letting anyone walk all over me, even if I love that person. And that's all the confirmation I need. That at least my parents think I'm doing the right thing and that I'm not overreacting. If something hurts me, it hurts me. I can't help it. And if she doesn't mind hurting me, then maybe it's better to get out of this marriage while we still can. So now I just hope she responds to my divorce petition. And I hope she doesn't contest anything. She's already given me enough problems. I don't want any more. Update 3, it's been a couple of days since my last update and I've been busy with several things. As I missed a few days at work, I had to make up for lost time by working overtime. In my current situation, I can't afford to cause problems at work. In my free time, instead of resting, I've been looking for apartments near my work because it's not practical to stay in this hotel any longer. Fortunately, I found a place with a reasonable rent and I'm moving in next week. Naturally, dealing with these practicalities has kept me very busy, so I haven't had much time to think about Leah and everything that went wrong. In a way it was a good thing because it kept me distracted, but last night she called me. It was from a number I didn't have saved, so I answered without thinking. When I heard her voice, I didn't know whether to stay on the line or hang up. I stayed, but I didn't say anything. I remained silent throughout the call. She didn't apologize or anything. She just told me that she really wanted to talk to me one last time, even though she knew she had no right to ask me that. She wanted us to meet so she could give me the signed divorce papers in person and have one last conversation to clear things up. As I still didn't say anything, she simply told me she would wait for me at home in the afternoon and hung up. For the rest of the afternoon, I was very undecided about what to do. But this morning I decided to go because, even if I didn't want to talk to her, I thought it would be good to at least receive the divorce papers in person. And part of me was curious to know what she wanted to clarify. When I got home, the place was practically empty. Only the furniture was left, but as the house came furnished, that will stay there and we'll terminate the rental contract at the end of the month. After giving me the papers, she also handed me a check. I was confused until I saw the amount. It was a considerable sum. She explained that she had returned all the things she bought with the money from the sale of the ring. Since we were no longer going to be together, he thought it was best to return the money to me. It was a few thousand less than what I paid the jeweler to get the ring back, so I mentioned it to him. He said that any difference would be paid to me in installments over the next few months. For now, this was all he could give me. I thought it was good because honestly, at least I got something back when I expected to lose all the money I spent on the ring. It was an awkward moment, but I thanked her and that's when she finally apologized. She had already started to cry. She told me she never meant for things to go so wrong. But it was clearly too late to fix anything. So maybe it was better to let us go. I didn't know what to say. I stood there, uncomfortably silent while she continued talking. She told me that she had been feeling terrible about everything for the last 2 weeks since I left home. And although her family and friends were on her side, she couldn't convince herself that she had done the right thing and that I had exaggerated. Deep down, she knew that I was right and that I had made a big mistake. She told me that she had often wanted to contact me, but that I had already blocked her. She was afraid that if she contacted me by other means, I would reject her and she couldn't bear that. That's why she stayed away. She also told me that she knows I deserve better, so she thinks it's best to divorce. By then she was crying, but she still finished talking. Then she left without waiting for my answer. I was somewhat shocked. I stayed in the living room for a few minutes after she left. I sat on the sofa and tried to process everything for half an hour after hearing her car drive away. I ended up crying too. Finally I left and went back to the hotel. Tomorrow I'll go to the bank to cash the check. I've already spoken to my lawyer about the papers. As there is nothing more to discuss, we just have to wait for the established period to pass. And then we will be officially divorced. I thought this would feel much better than it does now. But I guess I'll get over it in time. For now it's going to hurt, and I'm going to let it hurt because there's really nothing else I can do about it. Update 4, I cashed the check at the bank today and for some reason it felt liberating. Leah and I haven't spoken in the last few days after our last encounter at the house. I feel like I'm starting to let things go because holding on to anger and pain won't help me at all. I just want to forget this whole episode and move on with my life. I've already moved from the hotel to my apartment, and thanks to my friends, I was able to get everything set up pretty quickly. I'm very grateful to have such supportive friends. They've been checking in on me every few days, as often as they can. I'm also very grateful to my parents, who have been there to support me emotionally. I don't think I could have handled this the way I'm handling it if it weren't for them. It's not that I don't miss Leah or feel bad about everything that happened. Of course I do. But I can't let that stop my life because the world isn't going to stop and wait for me to process my feelings. I still have to work. I still have to pay the bills and everything else. I still have to fulfill all my responsibilities. And in order to keep myself going, the emotional support I have received from everyone has been fundamental. So I'm really happy to have such a good support system around me. In a few weeks, my divorce will also be finalized. And after that, I will be done with all the legal matters. I'm thinking of going on vacation or doing something a bit adventurous and spontaneous to clear my head because I really think I need a change of scenery right now. I've been talking to some friends and they seem excited about the idea of traveling together. So maybe I'll take them into account for now. Practically everyone knows that Leah and I are no longer together, thanks to her post on social media. I'm not very active on social media, so I didn't post anything or make any announcements, but she did post a statement and many of her mutual friends contacted me. Some just wanted to tell me that things will get better and others just wanted to hear the gossip. But at least everyone knows now, so I don't have to explain anything to anyone. I'm grateful for that. That said, I just want to move on now. Update 5, hi all, my divorce was finalized earlier this week and once again, Leah called me from that number she had used before to apologize again. This time, instead of keeping quiet, I told her that I wish things had worked out between us, but it is what it is. And I wish her the best for the future. She thanked me and hung up, and that was it. It hurts. But I guess this is as close as we're ever going to get to having some kind of closure. I'm now actively trying to move on with my life, and as I said in my last update, I'm about to go on a trip with some friends in a few days and I'm really excited about that. I've been looking forward to it for weeks and it's finally happening, and it really feels like I'm starting a new chapter in my life, which is quite exciting. Of course I haven't yet gotten over the chapter I left behind, but I can't go back. The only way forward now is forward. And I hope this trip serves its purpose well. That said, I don't think I'll be posting here again anytime soon, so I just want to take a moment and thank everyone who commented on my posts, supported me and even contacted me. It's really kind of you, and considering you're literally strangers to me and yet people cared about my situation, it's really touching. So thank you for all that. I really mean it.